used to think that visualization was just daydreaming. I had no idea it was actually one of the most powerful tools for rewiring your brain and shifting your identity. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura Whitelaw, and today we are talking about visualization and how it is changing my life. So I discovered visualization many years ago by accident, way before The Secret. And I don't know if I read about it somewhere or it was just something that I did naturally. But many years ago, after my husband and I, he was my boyfriend at the time, graduated from university, we took a trip around Australia. And leading up to that trip for at least a year, I would frequently spend time visualizing what it would be like to be in Australia. I would imagine being at the Sydney Opera House, holding a koala at one of their zoos, enjoying the beaches. And any time I felt doubt creeping in, I would just go back to my Australia visualization. And like I said, no one taught me to do this. I don't think I read about it anywhere. It was just something that I did naturally. And one of the things that we needed in order to gain entry into Australia on a student working holiday visa is we each needed to have $2,000 saved up in our bank accounts. And I was not very good at saving money at the time. I'd never saved more than $100 in my bank account. So saving $2,000 sounded like an extraordinary amount of money to me at the time. But through this visualization and being focused on what I wanted and needed in order to realize my dream, I had zero trouble saving up that $2,000. In fact, it just kind of happened with ease. And this is what visualization is all about. It's not about making things magically appear in your environment, although that can happen. It's more about giving your mind focus and opening up to opportunities that will help guide you to your goal. So this goes beyond fantasy or wishful thinking. There have been real studies done on the power of visualization. You've probably heard about how athletes use visualization to enhance their performance. Anything from hockey players to gymnastics to people who are divers have used visualization in order to gain an edge over their competition and produce the best performance possible. And they've even done comparisons between groups of athletes who have just, let's say, practiced throwing a javelin versus those who only visualized throwing a javelin. And their performance at the end of the day wasn't that far off one another. And visualization is different from passive daydreaming. It is typically focused on the end result of what you want to achieve. If you followed any of Neville Goddard's teachings, this is exactly what he espouses, that you want to focus on the end result. He teaches you to focus on the end result as if it's normal and safe and expected. And in terms of how it works with the subconscious mind, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. So the more you can imagine it, the more it feels normal and comfortable for you, and the more your brain will work to bring it into your actual environment. In other words, going through that visualization, let's say in your case, it's your perfect ideal day. The more you go through it, the more you are creating new neural pathways in your brain. And another thing that Neville Goddard frequently talked about was the feeling is the secret. And there's been a lot of debate over what that feeling is exactly. But essentially, you want to adopt the feeling of it being normal and expected and natural, not that excited feeling as if it was something that you didn't expect to occur in your life. So let's say you're trying to manifest a new client, for example, and you're visualizing having a full roster of clients. And the feeling that you want to embody is that of it feeling normal and natural and expected for you, not that it's a complete shock and that you're overly excited about your business. I mean, it's fine to be excited about your business, but it implies that it's not normal or natural for you. And again, this goes back to neuroscience. Your brain's primary directive is to keep you safe. So if something feels overly exciting, it could be interpreted by your brain as being something that's not safe. So if you want to try incorporating visualization into your life, if there's something that you're looking to manifest, then here's what I would suggest. Start by scripting out your perfect ideal day. This is the end result that Neville Goddard would talk about. So script out the house you're living in, the car you're driving, the people that are in your life, maybe the vacations you're taking, except that vacations aren't normally part of your everyday, but maybe you want to script out going for lunch with a friend. Then you can record it into your phone and listen to it every morning when you wake up. It doesn't have to be long. 5 minutes is plenty. In fact, going beyond 5 minutes can sometimes cause you to drift off or lose focus during the visualization. The second visualization style that you may want to try adopting is Neville Goddard's SATS, which is the state akin to sleep. That's where you develop a short 5 to 7 second visualization that you loop over and over again as you're drifting off to sleep. So this could be something like walking out of the house and seeing the new car in your driveway, getting in behind the steering wheel and looking down at the steering wheel and over the hood of the car at the color. Maybe on the steering wheel you're seeing the logo of the car you want. You're looking over on the dashboard and down at the seats, maybe the leather seats, and you can smell the leather. You turn on the radio, your favorite song is on there. That might be getting beyond 7 seconds, but you get the idea. So a quick 5 to 7 seconds that you loop over and over again as you're falling asleep and watch what happens. And the feeling that you want to embody during your visualization is that it's already done. Now, a big question that comes up, how do I stay in this feeling of the wish fulfilled throughout my day? For me, I might do SATs again during the day, even though I'm not about to go to sleep. But if I get a minute to just take a little break, I'll quickly go through a short visualization, 5 to 7 seconds again, and I'll loop that 3 or 4 times. And I might also practice a bit of breath work for a minute or two. And the thing to note about visualization in this way is that it helps to embody this new identity. So if you're on a reinvention journey, this is a key aspect to helping you in that journey. So there is a compounding effect to this. The more you do your visualizations, the better. Again, your brain starts to create new neural pathways. And as we mentioned earlier, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. And the more you see your visualizations as being real, the closer you are to seeing them in your real life. So a couple of tips that I want to leave you with, some don'ts, some things that you want to avoid. Make sure that you're visualizing from a place of having rather than wanting, and do it consistently. You don't have to do it 7 days a week, but try and do it at least 5 days a week and try and focus on the end result. You also want to focus on doing your visualization through your own eyes. So rather than standing outside of your visualization and watching yourself get into your new car, for example, you want to be watching this scene play out from your own eyes. So if you tried visualization, I'd really love to know what your experience has been. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.